What a fantastic second half we had here at Game 2 of the first round of the 2019 Air Force Reserve Mountain West Men's Basketball Championship. New Mexico tops Wyoming 78-68 behind a huge second half from the Lobos. Joining me on stage here now, the head coach Paul Weir and a couple of sophomores, Vance Jackson and Keith McGee. Coach, let's start with you. You guys come out of the locker room and had some work to do. Obviously, I know the first half wasn't exactly how you draw it up, but you go on a 22-3 run in that second half to seize your first lead. What was behind that?
I thought we stayed really positive as a group. Things weren't going well. It was a really test. It was a good test for all of us because what could have gone wrong was going wrong. Yeah. Shots weren't going down. Guys were in foul trouble. We could never really find a rhythm, and we just had to really stay positive and stay together. And it was great to see us do that and then eventually turn the corner.
Well, one of the guys who basically took the lead was this guy. Vance, you scored 13 straight points to give your team the lead. When you're shooting the ball like that and you're getting to the rack like that, what's that feeling like? I'm sure it felt like you couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, it's just a confidence builder, and just my teammates, just feeding positive energy, and we just got to keep it going. And our season on the line, and just got to give it all we got.
We got a chance to look at some of your highlights from that run. You're going inside, you're going outside. Was there a spot on the court that you weren't willing to jack it up from?
No, I'm kind of comfortable, It's something that I work on before and after practice with my coaches, and just my teammates just believing in me.
Keith, what about the energy when he was doing what he was doing out there? Lobo Nation rises up here at Pitt West. What was it like watching him from the bench or on the court, him do his thing?
It was amazing. I feel like it gave us all energy, because in the first half, we was all down because of the situation, but, just seeing him turn up and go out there and execute like how he did just really brought us all together. It just gave us energy, a different type of energy.
Coach Weir, on the flip side, what fuels that is just straight up energy. 50-50 ball is getting to it. Offensive rebounds leading to second chance points. You got a lot of those in the second half. I'm sure that makes you feel very good about what you guys did there when it comes to just straight out hustle.
Yeah, I thought as long as we played as hard as we were, I thought we actually played really hard in the first half as well. The ball just wasn't going in. We shot 27%, but as long as we maintained our energy, eventually the game was going to come our way, and it did. So I'm thankful for that.
To see the fans come out here and people in Albuquerque talk about this being Pitt West, they certainly showed it right there. That's the best crowd we've seen so far, and they came to support the Lobos. They did in a major way, especially when you guys turned the corner.
Yeah, no, we have the greatest fans in America. I'm a little biased, but they're tremendous. They come out, they support us, win or lose. And right now, obviously coming off a win, it's big, and we're going to need them again tomorrow as well.
Let's talk about Anthony Mathis. If you were to tell me he's going to score 6 points, struggle from the field, I'd say New Mexico's probably in trouble. How do you get him into that rhythm where maybe he can be a key contributor like he has been in his entire career at New Mexico when you guys take the floor tomorrow?
Yeah, I think honestly he's a senior. He probably put way too much pressure on himself today. I thought a lot of our team played that way early on. We were just too much pressure, and we just got to kind of let it go, play basketball. Unfortunately, it's just another game. We can't, get too caught up in the moment and allow it to affect our emotions and eventually our game. So I think as long as he calms down a little bit, he'll be tremendous tomorrow.
Keith, you guys have won 3 of your last 4 games. Where is this team playing in relation to where you want to be playing to make a run like we saw the Lobos do last year? They made a heck of a run on this stage 1 year ago.
We getting there, honestly. I can honestly say, we've came together. It was struggles early on, but the last 3 games we won has just been us just really coming together, running the plays like coach wants us to, executing, just playing hard, honestly.
Vance, you got Utah State up next. This is a Cinderella team in America this year. They went on a heck of a run, won 15 games in conference play. 0-2 against them this year, but you played them really tight. One of those. What's the secret to staying with the Aggies tomorrow and perhaps pulling what would be an upset bracket-wise?
We'll talk about Utah State another time. I don't need him saying anything right now.
No. All right, not going to tip your hand. I appreciate your time. Congratulations. Great second half there by the Lobos. Moving on to take on Utah State. We're going to send you guys on your way to go celebrate with your teammates. We're going to take a look at the bracket. You guys can be on your way. That's Paul Weir, Vance Jackson, and Keith McGee. Appreciate it, guys. So here's the updated bracket right now as we sit through a couple of games in the first round. New Mexico moving on to take on Utah State. And earlier today we saw, no problem, Coach, congratulations. And Boise State did top Colorado State to move on to take on top-seeded New Mexico. So there's one spot left now in the quarterfinals. That will be secured by either Air Force or San Jose State. They are out on the floor right now here at the Thomas and Mack Center, warming up to get out there for the right to take on Fresno State. All right, let's go back to the task at hand and talk about this game that we just saw. And you've had a chance to look at the numbers. Ari Wolf, longtime Mountain West broadcaster, joining us here on the postgame stage. Do the stats tell the story of the game?
They really do. Sometimes they don't, but this time they really do. So check this out. +7 in offensive rebounds and +5 in turnover margin. That's 12 extra possessions right there. They made 7 more free throws than their opponent. They held Wyoming to just 30 points in the second half, outscored them 51-30. New Mexico completely turned the game around, and strong second half performance.
Oh, it absolutely was. And rebounding, you know, Paul Weir talks about those hustle points, and that's exactly what they got. 45 rebounds. This is a team that's rebounded better down the stretch. They've won 3 of their last 4 because of that, and they're moving on after beating the Cowboys. Tip your hand, though, to Justin James for the Wyoming Cowboys. All right, this is a guy who's given it all for Wyoming. It's a team, the Cowboys, who have struggled with injuries. He put that team on his back and nearly willed his team to victory by himself.
Well, I know you like my analogy. You look at the NBA and you think of a guy who can do that. That's Russell Westbrook.
Sure.
Playing at a different speed, different tempo, bringing all kinds of energy. So he had a great game. He didn't get enough help from his teammates. But for New Mexico to win with Anthony Mathis, 1 of 13 from the field and 6 points, that's a team victory today.
Well, shooters go in streaks, right? Sometimes they're going to have nights like that, but there's going to be a night, maybe here at the Mountain West Tournament, where he's shooting 60%. We've seen it before. He's one of the all-time greats when shooting the 3 ball for New Mexico. He'll get another shot to get out on the floor against Utah State. All right, we're going to take a look at the bracket. Let's talk about Utah State. Coach Weir didn't want to do it. I understand they got a lot of work to do before they take on Craig Smith and company. How is New Mexico going to match up with Utah State, and how can they maybe position themselves to be in position late in this game to pull another one?
All right, well, here's the key. They've got some options to defend Sam Merrill. They've got some perimeter defenders that I think could challenge him, or at least make life difficult. Because if Sam Merrill goes for 18, that's a win.
Sure.
The big factor, I think, is Utah State has belief. They have that feeling that they can't be beat right now, and that's a hard thing to quantify. So I think New Mexico's going to have to play great, and for Utah State, there is a target on their back now. There is some pressure that hasn't been there. I think once they beat Nevada, now everybody knows taking them down would be a significant victory.
One final word here on the game that we're going to see here at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Air Force and San Jose State. This is an Air Force team that's beat some pretty solid teams in the Mountain West. San Diego State, Fresno State. They're capable of making a run. It's going to start with San Jose State. How do you see this one?
Well, they'll be big favorites against San Jose State. The question is, can they go for a longer run? And here's the question. Can they replicate the success they have at Clune Arena? Because there's something about playing up at Air Force that makes some of the other teams just struggle every year when they go there. So I think Air Force, in this game, they're a heavy favorite. Where things happen after that, they're going to have to play above their level.
Now the winner moves on to take on Fresno State. Air Force and San Jose State just moments away here on the Mountain West Network. For Ari Wolf, for the New Mexico Lobos, I'm Jesse Kurtz saying so long. We'll see you at halftime between Air Force and San Jose State. Coming your way next with Nate Kretman and Marty Fletcher.